Hello and welcome. My name is Seth, and this is Kentucky Ballistics. Sweet Chariot. Hello there. Should we do the unthinkable? Should we start a bow? Haven't actually finished the other bow I'm making, the U flat bow in the other series. It's over there, receiving some uh, deflects to its handle. Trying to put the limbs in front of the handle a little bit. Create that sort of shape on the bow. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. We're going to see what happens. This is a decent piece of wood, and it feels good. I've done more to less good bits of wood, and they have survived. So let's see what happens. I can see it from here. The tips are nicely front set at the handle. It's going to take some back set as I draw it, but we shall see. Hopefully it doesn't break, and I can do one more episode on that bow, showing it off. Hopefully firing well. That's the other issue with it. I can't really test it properly until I've got a slightly shorter string, or learned how to untwist my loops and make the string slightly longer. I think you can do that. I might look into that, but really it wants its own string for its new owner. So that one's over there, more or less done, is what I'm trying to say. Touch wood. So this piece of ash has been looking at me. Me and my buddy went and got it from the forest and split some other staves off it, which were, well, one of them was immediately not great. I think we discarded that one. I got impatient and just whittled another bow out of the thinner, the less good one, which I think I learned some things from. It's hard to say because I don't think it was cured at that point. But I've made a sword from the remainders of the rubbish stave, and it's really sounding good now. I noticed. It's my nephew's katana. I need to give it to him. He asked for a black handle with a white blade, so that's exactly what we did. It's awesome. Oh, keeping it. It's mine. Yeah. You'll get it eventually, Finley. Get the wax on that bad boy. But yeah, that is the same ash as this. And well, I have actually had a comment on ash from the West Country, which is where we are, which is that it's not good. It's not. Something about the growing conditions is not optimal for making dense ash, I think is what the guy was trying to say. So you could go, there's no point in doing it then, or you could go, well, I've got nothing to lose then. I've already put the energy into getting this. It was once again sort of a fairly fresh fall, just in the local woods. Spotted a nice trunk on was it green? I think it'd done a bit of drying out in the woods, but it was clearly no bug damage to it. The bark was still in good shape, so it was a large trunk as well. So we went for it, hacked it up and drug them out. And for one decent chance at a bow, I think what's to lose. Plus, can show off working on ash. Who doesn't want to see some woodwork? Right, cool. What do I want to do here? Right, I think with this bow, I'm effectively going to do the same home guard style design as what I've got before. Let's go fetch Hoodoo and outline the plan, because I've pretty much made the same bow again with this other one. They are really very similar looking, unsurprising really, because they've taken the same dimensions and they're rocking the same handle. Both got mahogany tips. Who knows? Might try and front set the limbs more on this one as well. I was quite surprised by the quality of this piece of wood. This is what we're going to go for. We could try and get a little bit longer than 64 inches. But that, it means getting another string. I need to get more strings to get more of these bows made. I've got lots of different length staves. And I've got 60-inch strings. strings for 60-inch bows, strings for 64-inch bows, and a string for a 76-inch bow. So they're all like 3 or 3.5 inches shorter than those numbers. And that doesn't create much variety. We've got a great big whopping gap between 64 and 76 inches. So yeah, I do need to get some more strings, and I can make some more heavy poundage, longer bows, which is probably the objective now. I think I need to sort of check myself with these ones, because I have to remind myself of the process. What I did was make some chunky backset heavy drawing bows, and although they worked, I mean they were able to shoot an arrow quickly, they were not shooting an arrow as quick as a bow of that poundage should be. So with a let's say this one is 28 pounds at 28 inches. I imagine this one is firing quicker than the backset 50-pound bows at 28 inches. I don't know, I'd like to string Saxon up again and give that one a go. It's add a decent bit of deflex to that, but yeah. This is what I'm trying to say. Even though they're heavier drawing bows, they probably aren't firing as quick as these lighter poundage ones. I could be wrong. You know, with the right ammunition, bows can surprise you. But yes, this is the design. Yep. We're going to go for, but a slightly big daddy version of it, I guess. We'll go for a 64-inch one. Stick with what I know for the minute, and I got a string to actually get it done. I mean, this is why I tried to make bows the same length. I've gone for my 64-inch ones first, because I've got those strings, so I can do the whole process. And we're making these. They do take a lot of shooting. You really need to not dink these. It's a stupid thing to do. Just sand them out, and we're all good. Sand them out and lose power if you dink them. Yeah. So with ash, this nice clean lump of wood. For fuck's sake. Right, let's put this down. You've seen what I'm trying to do here. We're going to take this shape piece of ash out of this piece of ash right here. Let's put you down on a nice piece of rubber. Stop knocking you against things, you clumsy idiot. With ash, because it's nice and clean and boxy like this, you can get your pencil out and draw it nice and clean. And that's something I've not been able to do with some of these raggedy bits of yew. Just been eyeballing it for the most part. But this stave, nice and thick and wide. It looks like my tape measures over there. We have got almost 2 inches. We've got a decent amount of material here. It doesn't taper off too much on this side. Does at the top here. Where's the narrowest point, I guess? Yeah, the narrowest point here is probably here. And that's at least 1.5 inches. The structure's good. I see a little wiggle here. Let's get familiar with the stave, I guess. Yeah, I've already split it and marked out the middle. A little bit of a wiggle down there. For the most part, it's nice and straight in all dimensions. And front set. I'm not going to get the pencil out just yet. I'm going to take away some material I know is safe. So I'm going to take away this chunk here and the same chunk on the other side. Let's begin the stave. Get that out of the way. And up you go. And I'll worry about the length down the road. Just use the tillering string until I've got enough funds to be dropping money on strings. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Any interested sponsors? I should set up a Patreon, really, shouldn't I? Who knows? who knows who'd be willing to support me doing this. Thank you to everyone who has, by the way. Creeping up towards 1,000 subscribers. That's yeah, I noticed that the other day. There's been this, however thankful I am, it has been a slow creep up. So I've got complacent about it, and then it sort of occurred to me, it's like, oh, I'm over 700 now. That's closer to 1,000 than it isn't. It's definitely the better side of 500. So thank you very much. And in thanks, I am here beginning this beautiful, potentially useless ash stave. Yeah, I've mentioned this before. This hasn't just been a process of bow learning. I'm gonna flatten this handle out just quick. It's not just been a process of trying to learn bows and traditional crafting equipment. It's also been a case of learning wood. And ash is a special one. Lots of lore around the ash tree, magical ash tree. I've noticed it. I think it's the rowan, maybe known as the mountain ash. I might be mixing up my facts here, but in the mythology, the pentagram comes from, well, there are pentagrams on ash berries, a certain species of ash berry, and I've noticed that pentagram shape in the core of the wood as well. Could probably find one of my sticks and show you. It's sort of on the top of the handle. So this the association we have with ash is ancient. Goes way back in our history. That's before you take into account its uses as a material. That's probably where a bunch of the folklore would have come from, because you use it so much, utilised it in day-to-day life. So they become extremely familiar with it, what it can do, the way it grows. I think it's one of the trees you find in places that are sort of deemed spiritual. Hazel, I forget. There's a cluster of trees. If you find them together, it's considered a sacred place in Old English folklore. We're talking about pre-Roman sort of era. People have been doing stuff on this island for a very long time. I think ash is native. The only the only native tree I'm sure of, I'm sure of it, is the birch tree. That's definitely one of our native trees. And maybe the Scotch pine. I would like to work on birch. Well, I've been working on birch. Reach of all my sticks. I got a. Go on, it's worth it. Got this birch stick on the way. Just straighten that sucker out. It had a weird burr, sort of an external burr on the knot. So I'm excited to see what happens when that will get smoothed out. I'm going to scoop that out and make it a real nice, comfy handle. But you see from the other birch stick I made, it's a beautiful wood. Glowing grains once it gets oiled. Really very nice. That's not what we're here to see. Let's scoop a bit more out of this ash. Just quick, it's getting on a bit now. I think my knife might need a sharpen. I won't do that now. Just rough this out into a slightly more even shape, to the point where I could put some pencil lines in there. Go a bit deeper on this side. Take that start using that eye. And you give the whole piece a good eyeball. You can get your string lines out and things like that and be sure of it, but your eye can do a huge amount in terms of picking up straight lines or not straight lines. Especially if you train it. Noticing with the bows, the view bows in the final stages, taking it more once you work down to sandpaper, you can feel through the sandpaper sort of lumps and undulations that shouldn't be there, and you can smooth the whole thing out. Very intuitive process. Both foraging, splitting the wood, getting this out of its log, and then the bow making itself, and then also archery. This is a really good way to involve your senses in the natural world. And we need to do that, because if we don't, we will lose it. And make it clear the value of forest. We've got not enough forest. Is it 2% of our old growth forest left? 2%. Might even be less than that. I think someone corrected me on that before now. So yeah, and if we claim to care about our ecology, to use a better word, sorry, a better phrase than the one we've been using, if we care about our ecology, we need to learn about it. Remember the value of it and protect it. But that doesn't mean leaving it alone. No. That means remembering your role in the ecosystem. Hazel is a perfect example of that. It's evolved alongside us. I think that's probably another one of our native plants. So its challenge, Hazel's challenge, is living under all the rest of the trees. So it's incredibly hardy. And it's down there in the thick of it, you could say. And it's got used to things taking its shoots away. It's useful, I don't know, potentially tasty shoots. I don't know if animals eat hazel shoots, maybe. But yeah, that's just obviously one way that we tie in to that ecosystem. Food would be the other one. Plants want us to be involved with them. Obviously they don't want to be destroyed by us. So we find it's a reciprocal relationship, isn't it? We manage these things, we use them mindfully instead of greedily, and they last. And they provide us with the things we need. I guess a big part of what I'm trying to rekindle with this channel here, my effort in the good, trying to feed the good algorithm, is about that. Trying to remember your place. You have a place as a creature on this planet, as a patron of the world. It's not ours. We're looking after it. And I don't think we've done a very good job of that. We're very good at looking after ourselves. But where's the give? It's a funny one to think about, but the role in harvesting this wood. Yep. Obviously, the forest needs the biomass. You don't take all of it. There's a useful piece we could take away. So that's a fractional, nominal amount of biomass that is missing. In turn, what does it do? I mean, it's a very small action, but it does have an effect. And so by cutting that log away, we opened up the rest of the log to fungus. So you instantly create a habitat just by cutting through that, almost dead log. And we freed up a small amount of ground. So there might have been a sapling that this guy had fallen on. That's not all that different from what a cow might do, or cattle. As they go through a forest, they disrupt and disturb things, but it's all part of the ecosystem. Forests work on a much longer time scale than we do. So ash, for instance, only lives about 100 years. So like similar to birch, they live a similar amount of time as we do. The other trees, yew and oak would be the two that jump to mind. Oak can be very long-lived. Yew is even longer than that. Thousands of years old. So their cycles, their concerns, the way they go about doing things is a little bit different to us. But they are intelligent. Trees speak to each other. They speak through mushrooms, I believe, through the root network and the mycorrhizal fungus that they exist with. Yeah, nothing short of our life support machine for the planet. And only, it's only a couple of years ago that I myself really took the time to learn trees. I would have been able to point out a yew tree. I could have pointed out a conifer, an evergreen. No sir, couldn't tell you what a yew was. I'd heard of a yew. Not in a good light. Some sort of operation. Let's forget about that, because yew deserves better. I do wonder why why it was called Operation Yew Tree. Hope that's not something that will get me banned mentioning that operation. What was it? Maybe me and my brother talked about this before. So what is it? Because yew is toxic. So maybe it's got something to do with that. Let's scoop this bit out here. This ash has got way tougher since the first time I worked on it. Sorry, I've been running my mouth about how awesome the ecosystem in England is and how we haven't been doing anything to protect it. We've just been putting poo on it. So let's talk about this bow. Already, we can see it taking shape. Gonna have a nice raised horsebow handle again, lovely lump, lovely mound. And more or less in line with the other end. Let's whip around and say hello to the other end. Yeah. Do a few cuts to that and then call it quits for now, because like I said, it's a wee bit late. Try and keep this flat and stuff. Facing up the face of the bow. Check me out, Delcat, using the proper terminology. We'll worry about the belly later. Well, hang on a minute. No, sorry, the back later. Wait a minute. Yeah. This is also the belly. Hang on, Delcat screwed it up. This is also, the belly is also known as the face, isn't it? I believe that's the case. And then the back is the back. Even though it should be the other way around. No, we're not going to talk about that. Ash smells fantastic. It's got a really nice, sweet scent to it. And it's also really good as a firewood. I need to work on this smoke horse. It's causing me bother. Do I need to just lift that up like that, or is that supposed to be screwed down? I think that's supposed to be screwed down. Let the screws come out. Let's have a little go at this waggly bit here. Who knows, maybe I want to shift the centre down that way if the end of the bow doesn't work. It doesn't look too bad. This is extremely good for the abs. It does get your back after a little while. You need to remember to do some scapular exercises, which you should do anyway as archers. I don't. I've got horrible scapula. They are really loud. And sit and roll my shoulders, and it's a very audible crunching noise. It's a little bit better actually, having done a bit of this. Yeah, I think it's come from driving. Lots of false movement, not proper exercise, but you know, you sort of engage in that area. Lots of lifting in the work we do. Archery is pretty hard on the shoulders as well. I tell you what, bow making is not conducive with shooting bows. Wears you out in, sort of tightens up muscles that you don't want to have tight when you're trying to shoot. I want to go. Take the. That's a. Yeah, we have to narrow it down at some point and discover how wide a stave we can actually get from the split. That's something you got to deal with. And see, the bigger the bit of wood you start with, the better chance you have of getting something out of it. Well, sorry, let's rephrase that. The more choices of bow you have with your stave. I'll clean up the sides because I'm going to want to draw the taper on. I've not successfully made an ash bow. I've successfully made the design that we're going for, but I've not properly worked with ash yet. So I'm going to do a bit of research, and because it's quite an orderly wood, I imagine you can apply it with yew as well. You've got a half decent piece of yew. There are standard dimensions that will create certain powers. People are doing this for a long time. The information is out there, I'm sure. So I'll go find that. And that will give us the best shot at getting a decent bow out of this sucker. Let's whip that bit of material off. That's going to be fairly similar to the other end now. Come on. What have you spent your winter doing, folks? Watching TV? or foraging, hiking, taking on the rain and the cold, making bows. Yeah, I found I think you'd call it seasonal affective disorder. It took me a while to figure it out. That you feel rubbish in the winter time. Why am I feeling so crap in the winter? What is this? It's like, oh right, because it's the northern hemisphere. And it's cold and it's dark and it's rubbish. So you need to fill your time with stuff that keeps you going. You know, mixed with a nice bit of hibernation as well, but you got to keep a purpose, right? Tell you what, let's bust him out and have a look. Look at this bad boy. That is exactly the shape you want for a stave, I believe. We've already got our front set programmed in there. One a little bit more than the other one. Just gonna have to do some shaping. He's neat, isn't he? I mean, maybe the ash around here isn't optimal, but I hope it can at least make something. I don't know. I'll have to research that as well. Yeah, it looked like we could get something like 76, 78, something like that. Was there's at least 2 inches on either end, wasn't there? Yeah. So that's 64, 66. We could do a 68 inch bow with this piece of ash. Is that a good idea? Let me know. Thanks for watching, everyone. The start of this new series, I guess. Now it's started, I'm gonna make sure I get that one finished. It's really not far off now. You know, it's all small tools and fiddly stuff, so I felt like I needed to get back on a spoke course. All my sticks are smoothed up, and now mostly just need sandpaper. So this felt like the correct move for the moment. Get off. I tell you what, doing this stage of it doesn't take long to wear you out. Spoke courses is hard work. It's quite a lot of impact as well. Yeah, what else? Let's make it work. Input on how to make ash bows, please. Get off. It's messy old business doing this. Next bit of time before bed, just tidying up. Because man, it piles up. Thanks very much, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.